You put on a facade for others. You're one way when you're by yourself, and then another when you're around other people. You wear a mask and don't let other people see the real you because you hate who you are. You try so hard to fit in and be liked by everyone, and you constantly wish that you were someone else. You feel ashamed of your true self, and you think that no one will ever be able to accept you, so you'd rather pretend to be someone you're not.
I was gonna do this without the face cam, but then I realized it's not the same without the face cam. You have to have the face cam. Anyways, boys, good morning. I hope you all are holly and jolly on this fine Christmas Eve morning. I know I'm not. Anyways, let's get into today's trade breakdown. Let's go. We ended up taking 2 losses today, with the second trade being a very, very, very nice trade execution. However, price, you can see as on the chart, later ended up reversing. I'm going to break down, obviously, the thought process going into today's trading day. What my initial bias was, because I did actually approach today with a overall bias on what I was expecting price action to see do, rather than having expected price action to continue along to the upside. It's looking to continue short, but first off, obviously, let's showcase daily outlook. On the hourly time frame, I was looking to see this potential power of 3 continue short. We had clear AMDX, or AMD, really, if you want to call it that, mainly because today market closes early. I'm pretty sure, at least. Closes in 30 minutes. So, however, we still had that clear AMD that I wanted to see form on the hourly time frame. Accumulation, manipulation, I wanted to see that distribution continue lower, at least take out this low of day before we end up doing anything else. Going on to the 15-minute, this is how price action looked pretty clean going into the trading day. When approaching the charts, market open, I was looking to potentially see a reversal, a reversal for any higher time frame PD array to be validated before continuing lower. Since my chart is white, it makes me look white. It looks like I'm white facing, like brother. Continuing that open high low close to the downside. This is how the trade position ended up looking. Even though you guys seen the whole execution, I did end up pausing the trade execution by accident. I did not realize, probably until like the end of the trade. I don't know where I ended up pausing. However, I'll recap how I ended up taking this short I took later within the day. But let's recap our first initial trade idea, because price action market open had a huge wick. I don't know what this was market open. However, it was just market open volatility, and retracing for this higher time frame 5-minute rejection block. You can see we also marked out standard deviation. We were trading within the reversal range, so I was like, hey, -2 to 2.5. I was like, okay, we have solid confluence. This is not bad confluence at all in order to look to go short. I want to see this overall power of 3 play out. On the 5-minute market open, we ended up retracing for this 5-minute rejection block, validating that before consolidating down here. Ended up forming a sequential SMT down here as well. I was looking to see this act just as a reversal confluence for a higher time frame PD array before continuing lower. Due to us having been traded above midnight open, we had no trading below midnight, so I was like, yo, I'm looking to at least see some new lower day formed during New York session, trading below midnight open before we get any sort of reversal. Sorry, it's raining outside. That's why it sounds like someone's pissing. Anyways, price action ended up consolidating, forming a lower time frame SMT, not a sequential SMT, just a regular SMT. However, we did also have a higher time frame SMT, not sequential SMT. You can see here we already did not have sequential SMT in Confluence. However, price formed that changes state of delivery, and to me it looked like we had no reason to really continue higher based upon how we were forming this power of three. I was like, you know what, price looks good. You can see right here, if I hide the chart, this candle is the candle we executed upon. It looked pretty solid for Confluence to the downside. I was like, yo, this is a great retracement candle, still validating this higher time frame or this lower time frame 5-minute rejection block, and the 15-minute, this is also 5 a.m. 15-minute rejection block from here to here. Let's look the short. So that's exactly what I did. Executed on the first lower time frame change of state of delivery I seen. Price also formed a BPR. This was on the 30-second. Our trade execution looks something just like this. I was commenting here. Where was it? Right here. Once price action began to displace back to the upside, forming low resistance liquidity during Q3 to Q4, I was like, still looking to see low resistance liquidity taken, even if this first initial trade idea is a loss. As we continue to displace to the upside, 10 a.m. close was bullish, and as we continue to displace a little bit higher above 10 a.m., I was like, hey, we will have to create this hourly high before looking to see any sort of reversal. That's exactly what we did. Price action continue higher, swept out high a day, and that is when we formed a change in state of delivery on the 1-minute time frame. I ended up taking this on the 30-second and scaled in an additional 2 contracts once price began to displace toward the downside. Our initial entry was right about here, so we did 7-point stop loss. Target was this low resistance liquidity down here. I really did think once we began to displace lower that we would draw toward this low resistance liquidity. I was like, yo, it's a solid trade. You know, we had an SMT at the highs, clear change state of delivery, was looking to see that overall power of 3 continue. However, upon getting filled, price displaced quickly. Going into Q4, I was like, okay, wait, going into bang right here. Wait for the quarters to load. Going into Q4, I was like, hey, we'll either see one of 2 things. We'll either see price flush from here toward low resistance liquidity or reverse. However, when I had scaled in an additional contract, 2 contracts, this is how my new position looked. It looked something like this. Bang. Something like this. So I was like, you know what? I already have my SL trailed. I like how price action is looking. I really do want to see price action continue to flush to the downside. Obviously going to Q4. Duh. I'm going to leave my SL open for a possible retracement before continuing lower, creating that open, high, low close I was looking to see. Price ended up making that retracement. We consolidated for like 30 minutes before eventually stopping out my trade position. Excuse me. Originally, I was like, hey, maybe it was Christmas Eve price action. Price, was just consolidating for the whole day. However, a lot of people were commenting how during Asian session, we didn't really make any major moves. We only moved around 40 to 50 points. So going into New York session, they weren't expecting much. We still displaced 100 points. I mean, having the proper SL, you still could have caught a solid long to the upside. If this today was not any psychological mistake or any mechanical mistake, mechanics were great, psychology was amazing. We have been taking a couple losses here and there. 2 losing days in a row. However, fortunately, it's not affecting my psychology in any way, shape, or form possible, only due to the fact that our execution has been great. Now granted, yesterday wasn't the best day. I did end up missing my trade execution. You guys know I take that very seriously. However, my performance throughout the week has been great, Still have trades that have ran in significant profit, like this trade. This trade just ended up reversing due to me trading against overall order flow, higher time frame order flow, and that's okay. My bias was incorrect today. Price continued to the upside. You could have caught a solid long if you were long. We had this 1-minute rejection block. You could have executed on the CE of that, targeted, 4.5 standard deviation as your profit. Got out with the solid RR today. Maybe not 7.1. Oh no, like 5R. You still could have caught a solid long today if you were long bias. I was not. I was short. I was looking to see that power of 3 play out. Ended up getting stopped out. However, solid trade today. Not beating myself up on the fact that, hey, 2 losing days in a row, man. I'm gonna end it now. Execution's been good. Am I coping? Maybe. I feel like I'm talking too much in order for it not to be cope. People that don't need a cope usually don't talk that much. However, yeah, solid execution. We will come back, not tomorrow because tomorrow is Christmas. Market will be closed. So, Friday. Love you guys, and I will see you guys Friday. Boom. Yeah, that's it. Love you guys. Peace, and have a nice day.